morning, my dear students. Now up to here we have discussed about the photosynthesis process and what are the components of food that other than the carbohydrates. We have learned regarding the synthesis of the proteins and the lipids also. Now today in our class we are going to discuss about the other mode of nutrition in the plants. Here there are some of the plants which are not having the chlorophyll. If they are not having the chlorophyll, then of course they are not preparing their own food. Then how do they survive? How do they derive the nutrients? Here these plants, they will be depending upon the other plants like the human beings and the animals. They are also getting their food by the other plants. Since they are also using the heterotrophic mode of nutrition. Here there is one of the plant, that is Cuscuta. We are also calling as the amarbel. Cuscuta amarbel. This is one of the plant which looks like a yellow wide branch structure twining around the branches of a tree and a stem. So this plant, it is a Cuscuta. We are calling this as the Cuscuta and Cuscuta plant. And the plant on which it is climbing, this plant we are calling as the host. This plant we are calling as the host. Here Cuscuta, it will be climbing on the other plant and it will be deriving the nutrition from that host plant. Means it will be getting the food. It will be getting the ready-made food from the plant on which it is climbing. For this purpose, here Cuscuta we are calling as the parasite. For this purpose, Cuscuta we are calling as the parasite. Here parasite is nothing but these are the organisms which live on the another organisms and it is getting food from that plant. So that these organisms we are calling as the parasite. Here Cuscuta or amarbel, it is also one of the parasite. Nothing but it is living on the another plant and it will be getting food from that plant, from the host. So that Cuscuta we are calling as it is one of the parasitic plant. Then what about the animals and human beings? Are they also belongs to the parasite? Yes, these are not belongs to the parasite because we are not living on the other plants or animals. We are getting the nutrition from the host. Here then what are the other examples about the parasites means? Here mosquitoes, lice, bedbugs and leeches. They are sucking the blood from the animals. Means they are getting the nutrition from the animals. So these we are calling, those organisms also we are calling as the parasites. Then do you know about some of the plants which eat insects? So which are those plants? Here there is one of the plant, that is the pitcher plant. Pitcher plant, it will be eating the insects. So how it is present? Here pitcher plant. So this is the structure of the pitcher plant. Here leaf part, it will be looks like a jug-like structure and it is also having the lid. Here lid, it is nothing but it is the apex of the leaf part. Under the lid it will be closing the mouth of the pitcher and it will be closing and opening the mouth of the pitcher. Here the pitcher, it is having the some of the hair-like structures which secretes some of the enzymes, some of the juices. So when the insects will be enter into the pitcher, immediately the lid it will be closing. Then the juices secreted in the pitcher, that it will be digest the insects which enters into it. Then from that it will be getting the nutrition. Means these are the plants. These are the plants which are getting the nutrition from the insects. So these plants we are calling as the insectivorous plant. Insectivorous plant. Insectivorous means these organisms which are getting the food by eating the insects. Here these plants also having the chlorophyll. Then you may ask that is by having the chlorophyll also, why they are eating the insects. Here the plants which they are living in that place, they are having some of the deficiency of the nutrients. So all the nutrients they need to prepare the food. Then some of the nutrients which is essential for the preparation of food, they will be absorbed by the soil, and some of the nutrients which they need, they are getting by digesting, by eating that insects. So these plants we are calling as the insectivorous plant. Yeah. Then what are the example for the insectivorous plant? Means that is the Drosera. Here few of the name of the plants, insectivorous plants with their figure as they are follows. Yes. Now we will move on to the other mode of nutrition, that is the saprotrophic mode of nutrition. Then you might have seen that packets of mushroom sold in a vegetable market, and also you have seen some of the floofy umbrella-like structures, which is these floofy umbrella-like structures growing in the moist soils or on the some of the woods also. So that is from where those organisms, from where they are getting the nutrients. Here these are the organisms, they are not having the chlorophyll, they are not preparing food as like the plants. Then how by the photosynthesis process, then how they are deriving their nutrition. Here I want to give you one of the activity must and should each and every member you have to do in your home. Take a piece of bread and moisten with water. Leave it in a moist warm places for 2-3 days. After that you have to observe on the bread some of the cotton-like threads, it will be appear on the bread. Then what it will be indicate? What are those structures? So those structures we are calling as the fungi. Then fungi, how they are deriving their nutrition? Means the organisms which are getting food from the dead and decaying matter. So those organisms we are calling as the saprotrophs. Saprotrophs is nothing but the organisms which are getting food from the dead and decaying matter. We are calling as the saprotrophs. And what do you mean by saprotrophic mode of nutrition? Means the mode of nutrition in which organisms they are getting food by the dead and decaying matter. You have seen regarding the fungi that causes some of the several harms in your home. For best example, you might have seen that fungi it is also growing on the pickles, and also it will be growing on the leather, cloths and other articles. Then other articles it will be growing which is present in a hot and humid weather for the long time. Then during the rainy season, in your home they are discussing regarding during the rainy season, fungi it will be spoiled most of the things. Then you have to discuss with your parents what are the causes of the fungi. Here fungi, where they are present. One of the best example I want to share with you. Suppose if you have a new shoes. So if you kept that in a particular place, in a hot and moisture particular area for few days, then if you observe that the shoes will be spoiled by the fungi. Then you might be ask me that where does the fungi they are present? Fungi they are present in the air. When the area it will be moist and humid, immediately they will be growing on that particular area and they will be starts to germinate. Then it will be starts to spoiling that particular articles or particular things. Some organisms live together and share food and shelter. So This relationship we are calling as the symbiosis. Means organisms, they are living together and they are sharing their nutrients and they are sharing their shelter. So this relationship we are calling as the symbiosis. For example, in a fungus, it will be living in the roots of some plants. Then the plants, they are giving shelter to that fungus. Fungus, it will be taking, it will giving some of the nutrients and water to that plant. Here there is another one example, that is the organism called lichens, a chlorophyll containing partner. Here lichens, fungus and alga, both they are living together. Here the fungus, it will be providing shelter to the alga. In turn, alga, it will be giving the food and the nutrients to the fungus. Like that, here both they are sharing their shelter and the food. So this type of relationship we are calling as the symbiosis. How does the nutrients are replenished in the soils? Have you seen that farmers, they are spreading the manures and fertilizers in the field, gardens, lawns? Do you know why this is done? As you know, as we have learned in the last session, that is, plants absorb the nutrients and minerals from the soil. So their amounts in the soil becomes decreasing. Means there will be decreases. The amounts of the nutrients in the soil goes on decreasing. Then to increase the soil quality, we are adding the fertilizers and the manures, which are containing the nutrients such as the nitrogen, phosphorus, potassium and etc. So these nutrients, they are added to the soil to the soil time to time to enrich the soil quality. Then only we are able to grow the plants with which then we are getting the healthy plants, healthy food, and it will be helpful for the farmers. Then usually crops absorbs the lot of nitrogen from the soil. Then the soil become the nitrogen quality in the soil goes on decreasing. Then how the nitrogen it will be supplying to the soil means, as we have learned in the last class, that is the 78% of nitrogen is present in the atmosphere. Then here some of the bacteria which is present in the soil, they will be absorb the nitrogen. They will be absorb the gaseous nitrogen and they will be converted into usable form of the nitrogen. Then which are the bacteria which helpful in the conversion of the nitrogen, gaseous nitrogen into the usable form? That is the bacteria Rhizobium. The bacteria Rhizobium, which is present in the soil, so which is present in the roots of the some of the leguminous plant. Leguminous plants are nothing but some of the gram and peas, mung, beans, other plants. In that roots of a plant, the Rhizobium bacteria is present. This Rhizobium bacteria, which absorbs the nitrogen, gaseous nitrogen present in the atmosphere, then it will be converting it into a usable form. Then the soluble form of the nitrogen, then the soil, it will be absorbing and it will be spreading throughout the parts of a plant. Then here Rhizobium bacteria, which is present on the roots of the some of the leguminous plant. Nothing but here it is taking the shelter. The Rhizobium bacteria, it is taking the shelter under the roots of the some of the leguminous plants. In turn, those leguminous plants, they are giving the food and the nutrients to this Rhizobium bacteria. Here the Rhizobium bacteria and the roots of the leguminous plants, they are showing the symbiosis relationship. Means they are Rhizobium bacteria and roots, they are living in a together, particular area, particular part they are living, and they are sharing the food and shelter. Hence they are showing the symbiotic relationship. Here how we are reducing the use of the fertilizers and the manures in the soil. Means if you are growing the leguminous plants with the crop plants, then we can reduce the use of the fertilizers and the manure in the field. Then it will also enrich the soil quality. Then it will be the soil will become fertile, then you are growing the most of the plants. You are getting the healthy plants.
How nutrients are replenished in soil. In this module, let us learn how nutrients are replenished in soil. As we already know, plants absorb mineral nutrients from the soil. Hence, their amounts in the soil keep on declining. Fertilizers and manures contain plant nutrients such as nitrogen, potassium, phosphorus, etc. Hence, fertilizers and manures need to be added from time to time to enrich the soil. Usually crops require a lot of nitrogen to make proteins. After the harvest, the soil becomes deficient in nitrogen. Though nitrogen gas is available abundantly in the air, plants cannot use it. They need nitrogen in a soluble form. The bacterium called Rhizobium can take atmospheric nitrogen and convert it into a soluble form. But Rhizobium cannot make its own food. So it lives in the roots of leguminous plants like peas, moong, etc. and provides them with nitrogen. In return, the plants provide food and shelter to the bacteria. This is called as symbiotic relationship. This association is of great significance for the farmers. They do not need to add nitrogen fertilizer to the soil in which leguminous plants are grown. Hence, in this chapter we learned that most of the plants are autotrophs. However, few plants adopt other modes of nutrition like parasitic nutrition and saprotrophic nutrition, and they derive nutrition from other organisms. All animals are categorized as heterotrophs as they depend on plants and other animals for food.
Yes, now you watch this video, it will show you how does the symbiotic relationship between the rhizome and bacteria and the roots of a plant taking place. How does they are sharing the shelter and the food, and how does the rhizobium bacteria it will be helpful for the absorption of the gaseous nitrogen present in the atmosphere into the usable.
Symbiotic plants. Symbiosis. When two organisms live together by sharing shelter and nutrients and mutually helping each other, their association is called symbiosis or symbiotic relationship, and the organisms are called symbionts. In lichens, an alga and a fungus live together and derive nutrients from each other. The alga, being autotrophic, makes food for both by photosynthesis, while the fungus provides shelter, water, and minerals to the alga. For example, roots of leguminous plants like gram, beans, etc. contain nodules having rhizobium bacteria. These bacteria convert atmospheric nitrogen into nitrates, which are used by leguminous plants. Rhizobium depends on the plant for its food. Thus, leguminous plants and rhizobium have a symbiotic relationship.
Yes, my dear students, by watching this video, we have learned that how does the symbiotic relationship between the rhizobium bacteria and the roots of the leguminous plants we have discussed. Now, today in our class we have discussed regarding the what are the other mode of nutrition in the plants. That is Cuscuta or Amargal, that is one of the parasitic plant which are getting the food from the other plant, and also some of the animals, some of the organisms like mosquito, bedbug, lice, leeches. These are also example for the parasite, and later we have learned learnt regarding the saprophytic nutrition. Example, that is the fungi, yeast, mushrooms. So these are getting the food from the dead and decaying matter. For that purpose we are calling these as the saprotrophs. And finally we have discussed regarding the how does the symbiosis process it will be taking place. Means here the symbiosis is nothing but the organisms, they are living together, they are sharing the food and shelter. So this sharing we are calling as this sharing of the relationship, this relationship we are calling as the symbiotic relationship. Then how does the nutrients, they will be replenished in the soil? That is by adding the fertilizers and the manure to the soil, we can replenish the nutrients in the soil. So if the soil it is rich of the nutrients, then it is fertile, then we are getting the different varieties of the food crops which are healthy. And here the bacteria rhizobium which is present in the leguminous plants, so that it will be helpful for the absorption of the nitrogen from the atmosphere. So in this lesson, we will be end of this lesson by concluding the what we have learned the whole lesson. In this lesson, we have learnt about the what are the types of the mode of nutrition, that is autotrophic nutrition, heterotrophic nutrition. And we have known about the very well known about the process of the photosynthesis. How does the photosynthesis process taking place in the plants? How by using the some of the raw materials like carbon dioxide, water in presence of chlorophyll and sunlight. How does the plants are preparing the food? Then what are the other components of the food other than the carbohydrates, that is the proteins and the lipids, how they are produced. Later we have discussed the other mode of nutrition, that is the saprotrophic nutrition and parasitic nutrition, and also we have learned about the how does the symbiotic relationship it will be taking place in the certain organism, that is the lichens plant. And rhizobium, what are the uses of the rhizobium bacteria? It will be helpful for the absorption of nitrogen from the atmosphere. So that is also belongs to the heterotrophic mode of nutrition.